Please all stand and join me in the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Right. Let's see. All right. Madam Clerk, will you read the first public hearing?
Yes. Did you want to approve the minutes first?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Okay.
We approved the minutes for December 13th, 20th, 2022, and January 3rd, 17th, and February 7th, 2023.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. And, sorry, now, Madam Clerk,
Thank
can
you,
you
sir.
read the first public hearing?
First public hearing for February 21st, 2023, a public hearing to discuss the creation of a Sustainability Commission and amend Chapter 2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to include this commission.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Please come forward. And please state your name and address.
Will do. Good evening, councilors, clerk. I've got about 45 pages to read. I'm just kidding. So, this should be pretty quick. My name is Mike Davis. I live on 99 Thayer Farm Road in Attleboro, Mass. And I am here to speak in favor of creating the Sustainability Commission. For the last year, I've had the pleasure of chairing a group of very skilled volunteers to write Attleboro's first environmental master plan. We refer to it as the EMP. We invested approximately 850 hours into the project at no cost to the city, which was estimated by consultants to be about $130,000. The EMP is a strategic roadmap that addresses 6 primary pillars: sustainable economic growth, water security, conservation, waste reduction, renewable energy, and education. During our work, we reached out to more than 50 civic organizations in Attleboro, attended farmer market venues, held open meetings, and gave many presentations to anybody who was willing to listen to us. Without a lot of effort, we've garnered about 225 signatures of folks that feel like having an environmental plan, an environmental roadmap is a good idea for Attleboro. We also gathered information and data from other communities, from Europe, Canada, the United States, and all 351 towns and cities in the Commonwealth. What is clear is that Attleboro is a bit late to the market and to the table. 58% of communities in the Commonwealth already have a sustainable department, a director of sustainability, or some other official standing that is securing significant grants, funding awards, and more importantly, gains in what will be an increasing battle against human-caused climate change. We not only created a strategic roadmap, but also a lengthy list of recommended actions that will be evaluated, that will go a long way in making Attleboro sustainable by design. Now is the time to put that plan into place. A yes vote on the Sustainability Commission says that you believe that we need to live more sustainably. In other words, live within our budgets, consume what we can replace, and protect what can't be replaced. A yes vote says that you trust a group of volunteer residents to advise a path forward to a more sustainable Attleboro. Creating a sustainability commission of volunteer residents is at least a start to having a more sustainable future for us, for our kids, and their kids. And now is the time to get started. Before I close, I'm going to ask audience members that took the time to come out tonight, whether they're speaking for or against, if you could just raise your hand and just let me know that you're with it. Thank you. So I thank you, councilors, for giving this the due consideration, and be happy to address any questions or concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Davis?
Sure.
Councilor Bennett.
Thank you. First, I want to acknowledge all the hard work that was done on this. Thank you so much for all the time and the effort that went in. And I was just curious, was there one particular thing that stood out in your mind as a potential initiative or action that the city could implement that would have, in your mind, like the biggest impact for the city?
So, fabulous question, and that was actually one of the things we talked about toward the end of the project, which we finished in August. And so what we did was, rather than say it was one thing that would do the most, because usually if it requires the most effort, it probably is the furthest one away in terms of getting it done. So what we did was we prioritized our list of 100 actionable ideas. These are just ideas. We don't know if they're worthy to consider, but I just want to point out that we've got over 100 ideas, and we prioritized them. And we prioritized them against several different categories, not the least of which is, what's the easy stuff to do first? So that's what we chose to do, is go after the really easy stuff, and that would be funding that's now available for certain things that we're not taking advantage of right now. There are certain departments within the city that are actually taking advantage of some of these things, but what we want to do is kind of bring them all together and focus on some of them. So one of the things that we thought of was, it's already done, is to create a website on the municipal website. So we were able to actually accomplish that and begin the process of letting people know. And I can't tell you, I would have never thought that anybody would actually read the website. I just didn't think, but I can't tell you how many people have actually reached out to me, because my name is on there, on that particular part, and said, hey, we can help you do this, we can help you do that, we're over here in Lexington and we're getting this done. And the collaborative effort among other communities is extraordinary. So I think once we get the commission going, then we're going to start to decide what are the things that we can do and it get done quickly, in collaboration with other people. So, I mean, you know, it's always easier to carry the mattress upstairs if you've got more people helping you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Councilor Bennett, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate the comment.
Councilor Angelo?
Thank you, President Kovas. Thanks, Mike. I've seen your work. I think it's been great. You guys have done a fantastic job.
Thanks.
Is it safe to assume that yourself and your team members will be looking to get on the commission?
I've made the commitment that I will put my name in for consideration, and mostly as from a transitional point of view. Of course, I reached out to the rest of the team members and gave them the opportunity. So some say that they're just overworked. They got too many other things going on. I totally understand that. And so they're going to probably not join, but we've also reached out to other people who, like I said, have contacted us via the website or through Farmer Market. Again, that was extraordinary, the number of people that came by, and they wanted to join. So amazingly, I know you know that this is a challenge within Attleboro, is to fill up all the seats on all the commissions and boards and things like that. I think we'll actually have it filled tomorrow.
Great. Thank you very much.
Councilor Holmes?
Thank you. So the thought process is that they would potentially be looking at federal and state grants and
Yes.
accessing the funds to be directed towards Attleboro to help with these projects.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
So the commission may be looking at federal and state grants and
Yes.
seeing if we can apply and bring the funds towards Attleboro to help with the projects that you had mentioned, those 100, that
Sure.
list of, okay.
Yeah, some of those projects won't be, there won't be funding available for them. But most of them do. Most of them that require some sort of a financial investment of some sort. There is, I mean, we just passed a $750 billion climate change bill. There's funding that's already being taken by some of the communities in Massachusetts today. So the state has got federal funding, state funding, and the government, the federal government has got federal government funding. And these things are available now. And we've got experts within this city that know how to take advantage of grants. What we want to do and feel as though is the best way to do this is almost using the sustainability definition, and that is to do this collaboration where we're just this one's not in this direction, that one's not in that direction. The Sustainability Commission, unlike all the other commissions and boards we have, we will be going after creating opportunities as opposed to just simply regulating things. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Anybody else?
Thank you. I really do appreciate the time.
Thank you, Mike. Okay.
Thank you. Is there anybody else to speak in favor? Go ahead.
Good evening, President Kobus, councilors.
And just for the record,
I'm Roy Belcher, 6 Nancy Avenue here in Attleboro. I happen to know that the Attleboro Land Trust has also endorsed this and sent a letter to the city council. And I'd like to just reiterate that that's a fairly well-established environmental group here in Attleboro. We had a unanimous vote of their board of directors to endorse the Sustainability Commission. Mike has talked about the big picture, and he mentioned a couple of key words that would maybe have a little more operational gravitas. One of them is collaboration. I know from my experience that each department in an operating organization as big as a city has their own priorities. The school department is looking at their standing as an educational institution, and they're worried about their costs. And they may not be so concerned about their environmental impact, but they should be. And a Sustainability Commission could facilitate that awareness for each department. You know, is the water department really concerned about the environment? Well, we note that PFAS pollution in one of our wells costs us a lot of money. And so this Sustainability Commission might be just the glue that holds all of these organizations, operating divisions in the organization together. And if something works well in one department, it can be shared with the others easily without a lot of additional cost. A Sustainability Commission might be capable of doing some research, a free research organization for the city to find out best practices around the country and around the world. I know the city has a long-term capital budget, and one of my big heartaches was when the new high school was built at considerable cost. It was not fitted with capability for solar panels, and I don't believe it has electric charging stations. So that's water under the bridge, but this Sustainability Commission might be capable of taking a look at the capital items that are on the long-term budget and evaluating whether they meet the 21st century, or are they, as my grandchildren would say, so 20th century. So the last thing I would suggest that they could do is a survey of the city's operating departments to see if there is an area, like Councilor Bennett suggests, that might have the greatest impact, or that would have the greatest shareability among all the city departments. So thank you for your attention.
Mr. Belcher, are there any questions for Mr. Belcher?
Thank you.
Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Belcher, and also thank you for everything that the Land Trust says. Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak in favor?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Tucker McNulty, and I reside at 50 Thayer Farm Road for the past 16 years. I'm going to bring a little corporate spin to our Sustainability Commission. So I'm here to speak to express my support for the creation of the commission. I'm employed by an international insurance carrier based in Switzerland. We have over 10,000 employees in North America, 56,000 globally. And we recently announced a $4.6 billion profit for 2022. Much like our financials to our investors, we also release an annual sustainability approach. Our CEO, like many other corporate employers, have highlighted sustainability as one of our critical performance goals in perpetuity. We are creating a mindset of change. Corporately, we have 4 pillars of sustainability, They include limiting global temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius, inspiring confidence in the digital work future, empowering our employees to make a change themselves, and working with our communities to create a mindset of change. Examples of the above include we document our business travel CO2 emissions now. We have the ability to choose the most direct route and the one that is most carbon friendly. Working remotely as much as possible, my organization reduced commuter costs for their employees, but also reduced CO2 emissions. We have eliminated all single-use plastic from our offices. 100% of our files are electronic. Presentations to clients are provided electronically only, no paper across all those desks. We have launched a renewable energy division that provides insurance products for sustainable energy businesses such as solar and wind. We have identified industries that conflict with our sustainable approaches. So we have taken a position that we will no longer offer insurance coverage to those companies that are developing or exploring new sources of fossil fuels. We have taken it also to our financials. We invest our profits in markets that demonstrate our same mindset when it comes to sustainability or emerging technology to combat climate change. These are just examples of the numerous initiatives surrounding sustainability in the insurance industry and other corporate boards across the world. I believe we should quickly and effectively build a culture of sustainability in the city of Attleboro by raising awareness about the importance of sustainability, engaging with citizens and stakeholders, and promoting best practices that commissions can foster a sense of ownership and responsibility among all members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. And before I recognize Councilor Conti, Kathleen, I wonder if we should open that door and see if Virginia heard the paperless office. I'll stop there, and Councilor Conti, go ahead.
Exactly.
Go. Sorry.
Tucker, how long have you worked for this insurance company?
15 years.
And from the company that you worked for before, and I'm assuming that you now work for Zurich, as I'm guessing.
I do, yes.
Did you see a 15 years ago, did you see a change when you went from the old
We had
company?
files stacked. I had files that I needed to document that were 5 feet high. Now we have absolutely nothing. We had rooms filled with files. Now they're all digitized and they're gone. And the idea that we remote working wasn't even an option back then. Maybe 1 day a week, maybe 2. Now, as long as we get our work done, it's fine.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor DeSimone.
Yes, Tucker, first of all, thank you for coming in and sharing your thoughts. And I don't know, first of all, I think the Sustainability Commission is certainly, it's about time and perhaps overdue, but I feel like this is a tipping point. Like now is the time to move this on. Is that your sense as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
That's how I'm sitting thinking we got to go.
Yeah, I mean, we took a corporate stance probably about 5 years ago, and we started developing rules and guidelines around it. And we've just, as I said, we're still making money,
Yeah,
and we're being
exactly.
responsible for doing it. So.
Right, regardless of your political or the philosophy about
Correct.
the issue, that you can use economics as your prime motivator too. Whatever works. Thank you for coming in, Tucker.
Thank you.
Councilor Angela.
Thank you, President Kovas. Thanks, Tucker, for coming in. Did you see, when you first started doing it, was there a lot of resistance? Did it get better? Did they see, okay, this is actually helping us? And also, was it extra money to get this started and then eventually got all that money back? Was there big cost savings as it got implemented?
Yeah, so I mean, when we went totally digital, there were people fighting tooth and nail for their pieces of paper, so they could document things. But now, it's so much easier just to do everything in front of a screen. Emails. I mean, when I was writing this out, I couldn't even remember the last time I actually wrote with a pen. So it's been, we've saved money due to efficiencies because we no longer store files anywhere. They're all electronically now. We're not using warehouses upon warehouses of storage for now. So it did work out for us financially as well. When we pulled away from fossil fuels a little bit, we still have some in our portfolio business. We've given them notice and said this is the stance that we're taking on a global basis.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that's here to speak in favor? Please. Welcome, and just your name and address for the record.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Jillian Weber, and I live at 10 Middle Street in Attleboro. I am here to speak in favor of creating a sustainability commission. I was so fortunate to volunteer alongside Mike Davis and the Environmental Master Plan Task Force this past year, but only began my work after I replied to a Facebook post looking for additional volunteers. Perfect timing, since I was already researching to see if Attleboro had any movement towards sustainability. I had only reached out to the mayor 3 months prior, asking who in the city, if anyone, was working to secure funding towards electric school buses for Attleboro. The federal government had just opened up their new grant program, $5 billion to school districts across the nation to replace their diesel fleet. I couldn't find any information on the city website, and I started wondering, is this on anyone's radar at all? Conversing with my neighbors and my friends, I realize I'm not alone in wondering the same thing. What is Attleboro doing about sustainability? What can I do as a resident? Where do I go to learn more? The good news is members of our community are working on sustainability initiatives if you look closely enough, if you watch the city council meetings and interviews, and follow the news. For example, Gary Arazian and his staff are working on multiple green infrastructure initiatives, leveraging federal and state grants to ease the fiscal burden on residents. Jeremy Gay, the Director of Career and Technical Education, was recently awarded a skills grant of $250,000 to begin a brand new environmental science program for the CTE program at Attleboro High School. With countless other pockets of progress throughout the city, we still need to do better. We need to do better looking for more sustainable ways to run our city and our homes, and educating and updating the very people that this affects. I'd like to take a minute to talk about the importance of collaboration and coordination in sustainability efforts in Attleboro. Siloed efforts where different groups or organizations work independently on their own sustainability projects can be frustrating and ultimately ineffective. The challenges facing Attleboro are complex and interconnected. Resource depletion, waste reduction, water and food security, and social inequalities are just a few of the issues that we need to address. To make meaningful progress, we need to work together and leverage each other's strengths. When sustainability efforts are siloed, it can lead to duplication of efforts, inefficient use of resources, and a lack of coordination. For example, one group may already be working on a food composting program for the school, and another group is organizing a food waste collection program for local residents. This would be a missed opportunity to work together without coordination. Moreover, siloed efforts can create frustration among residents who may feel that their contributions are not fully utilized or appreciated. It can also limit opportunities for learning and sharing best practices, which are crucial for making progress in sustainability. Therefore, I urge all of us to work together to break down silos and to collaborate towards a more sustainable future for Attleboro through the creation of this Sustainability Commission. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Weber? Ms. Weber? Hearing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak in favor? Welcome.
Please, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilors,
Your name and address.
yes, my name is Andrew Fowler, and I live at 63 Upland Road. I'm here as well to speak on behalf of the Sustainability Commission. My privilege to serve on the EMP task force with Mike, Jillian, and others. This is not only about environmental sustainability, as that phrase is often thrown around, it's about community resilience in the face of stressors that we all face. And it's also about community cohesiveness as well, in that we have a shared goal, we have a shared commission, hopefully, and that the whole community can see this as an aspirational body and as a practical getting things done body. To begin, I want to make sure I express my confidence in the city's offices that already work in this field, like economic development and planning. We appreciate their efforts in what they do to steer the city every day. But the emergence of grant opportunities referenced prior, specifically for resilience and for infrastructure and systems designed for the next phase of social and environmental changes, means that the city should actively position itself as a municipality and position itself on behalf of the businesses and residents to take advantage of these grant opportunities. Ideally, the Sustainability Commission would have a role in identifying what opportunities are available, which grants are up for applications, how to submit those, who to contact. The state has various agencies who roll out revolving funds, gift grants, low interest loans, zero interest loans. The feds do as well. Almost an innumerable amount of bureaucrats in Washington, in Boston, in other offices related, are looking at applications to see which projects are shovel ready, which ones are going to make an impact, and which applicants have put together a vision that shows that these state or federal dollars will be put to good use. So over the past 12 months, the Baker administration for Massachusetts and now the Healy administration have done the following. They've awarded grants to fund climate resilience in local watersheds, not coastal ones, just inland watersheds for the emerging rainfall patterns that are coming. No amount associated with that from the press release. Some will have amounts, some won't. The Baker administration awards climate change, habitat resilience grants to municipalities and conservation organizations. That's in July. The Baker administration awards $6 million to support ecological restoration and climate change adaptation projects, also July. Invests $12.6 million in community coastal resilience, that's in September. We're close to coastal. The Healy Driscoll administration supports growing recycling businesses and issues business development grants for companies who are in the recycling business for glass, textiles, mattresses, etc. And last, the Healy administration announcing $50 million, a big one, in grants for low and moderate income electrification of home heating resources. Press releases too about the resources that the state offers in helping municipalities and organizations plan and adapt, tools, if you will. A digital platform for supporting climate resilience planning, a lot in there, I know, but that was an April past. Also, they have a state hazard mitigation plan, one that each community can have a fingerprint on and do its part. Given these resources, the Sustainability Commission presents an opportunity for businesses, but also for the residents and the students, the youth coming up in the city. It's a model for how they can act locally as well. Mike Davis had mentioned about 58% of municipalities have a officer or a commission of this sort, and it's time the Attleboro does as well. Let me conclude by saying that with the Sustainability Commission, the city can keep putting itself out there, keep putting itself forward, and we all can move forward as well. Thank you, and that's it. Any questions, I'm very happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions?
Very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Thank you and welcome.
Good evening, councilors. I'm Brian Hatch, 34 Silver Birch Road. I'll be fairly brief, a lot of speakers tonight. While I believe the benefits of the Sustainability Commission to the environment of Attleboro should not be understated, I'd like to emphasize to you tonight the significant economic benefits to Attleboro of the formation of such a commission. Having 7 volunteer members of the formation of this commission with an expertise in multiple incentives, grants, and benefits of various actions towards sustainability is a win-win situation for the city. First of all, existing businesses and businesses looking to locate in Attleboro will find it invaluable to be able to consult with a formal city commission, which can advise them of grants, incentives, and other benefits of making their business a part of sustainability goals. Having been involved in the TDI program, I can see a very productive coordination of the Sustainability Commission, knowledgeable of grants and economic benefits to help businesses locate and improve in the downtown area. Number two, secondly, in the coming years, residents will continue to be presented with a myriad of incentives for sustainability projects having to do with solar panels, electric chargers, residential heat pumps, electric vehicles, to just name a few areas. Residents will be fortunate to be able to call the City Commission to help them wade through these opportunities and save money by taking advantage of what is offered at the federal, state, and local levels to meet sustainability goals. I've already worked with potential members of the Commission to compile a database, along with some help from Representative Auchincloss offices and nonprofit agencies and other state agencies to help them wade through these opportunities. Thirdly, city officials such as yourselves, the mayor's office, members of the planning board, conservation commission, municipal building commission, DPW, etc., can also take advantage of being able to contact this commission regarding specific projects they are considering which might be related to sustainability goals. This information base will be a way to reach out to developers, vendors, or contractors who are presenting their projects to the city commissions for approval. So all in all, having a sustainability commission is not only going to help Attleboro's environment benefit from sustainability, but it makes great sense economically as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Hatch?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Waterman.
Brian, we're not in this alone either. So all communities are. So we're surrounded by, what, 5 or 6 communities. Are there regional approaches to this too, which can be undertaken?
Well, there are regional processes, and as a matter of fact, some of the coordination of communities, I believe it's the, I'm not sure, the agency centered in Taunton, which coordinates some of the environmental, sustainable projects in this region, has helped us.
Okay.
And helped Jillian Weber and myself build a database of various grants and opportunities that the communities in this area can take advantage of. I think that's, I think it's SREPD. I'm not sure if that's the name.
Okay. Well, I would assume that we'll be looking at a regional perspective as well.
That's right, and hopefully Attleboro will be a leader in the region.
Yes.
We aim to be in the top 1% of green communities in Massachusetts.
Perfect. Are there any other questions? Councilor Angelo.
Thank you, President Kovas. I'm all, and hopefully this comes out right, I'm all for sustainability, I'm all for green, preserving the future for our kids and grandkids and so on and so forth. What kind of, do you see like the commission as being like making suggestions to the city, to the council, or do you see as like an authority, or how do you envision that?
I believe both. I think that as basically an information base for both residents, city officials, and businesses to be able to take their questions and provide expertise and answers. But I'm sure that they will have recommendations that they can put out too by taking a vote as a commission, maybe sending that to another city body, the mayor's office or the city council, for a suggestion for particular actions that they have. We have about 100 different actions that we have come up with, and so those types of projects will be considered by the council, by other city bodies, but I'm sure the Sustainability Commission can do that research and find out more about them and provide you guys with lots of information on that.
Yeah, because hopefully they'll be. I mean, I've known Mike and I've seen the amount of work he's put in and all the hard work he's done and everything, and I've heard the heat pumps over and over again. And I don't know enough about them. I know some, done some research, and then I've also been seeing a lot of people with a lot of high electrical costs and everything, and at the same time, we don't want to overburden citizens or with higher fees, because everybody's struggling now to pay. So if it's going to be a cost savings to people, I'm sure people are going to grasp it and going to hold on to it and everything. It's just that as long as there's enough research involved in the heat pumps and everything else, that we're not overburdening anybody.
Well, it's amazing that the fact that you suggest heat pumps, actually.
I'm not suggesting them. You had mentioned it a few times. Yeah.
I was talking about that particular topic with our state rep, Jim Hawkins, last night. He's a neighbor of mine and also has just installed a heat pump through incentive programs. And we're talking about, that's one of the things that this type of commission can do. And we're going to get information from Jim, of course, about state grants, incentives, and from Rep. Auchincloss's office, and all sorts of places, see if we can provide that information to all of you and as well as residents.
Well, thank you.
Is there any other questions?
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Come on up. Welcome.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ethan Pipes. I live at 1521 West Street. I'm speaking in favor of the Sustainability Committee because I would like to see Attleboro evolve into a more safe and healthy community for our people and our local environment. As global temperatures continue to rise and natural resources become scarce, Attleboro will need to take proactive steps to reduce their environmental impact now and prepare for a future where resources like water, oil, and energy are harder to come by. A sustainability committee can help Attleboro implement policies and programs that reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote the use of renewable energy and sustainable transportation. Adopting sustainable practices will help Attleboro save money in the future by reducing energy consumption and waste generation. The city can reduce costs on utility bills and waste management. And I'll put this bluntly, implementing sustainable laws and recommendations can help citizens save money in the long run. Furthermore, implementing sustainable practices can attract businesses and investors who are increasingly looking for environmentally responsible cities to locate to. As a member of this community, to me, it's important to ensure that Attleboro is taking steps to protect the environment and ensure a healthy and sustainable future for all the residents. By creating a sustainability committee, the city can demonstrate its commitment to social responsibility and inspire residents to take action on environmental issues. The sustainability committee can bring together stakeholders from across Attleboro, from local government officials to business owners and citizens, to collaborate on and learn about sustainability initiatives. This can help foster a sense of community ownership over the health and well-being of our environment, which can ultimately lead to greater engagement. Overall, I think voting yes on the formation of the Sustainability Committee is a vote to help Attleboro to become more environmentally responsible, economically sustainable, socially conscious, and collaborative. By taking action on sustainability issues, Attleboro can ensure a healthy and sustainable future for all of our future generations. Any questions?
Councilor DeSimone.
Well done, Ethan. So I'm excited that you're here for many reasons, not just to support it, but my question for you is, when this happens, will you be able to volunteer and serve on the commission? Because I think having younger voices in respect to all those other folks involved of a certain age.
Why are you pointing to me?
But you are the future, right? You and my kids and everybody, this is why we would want to do this, not just for the now, but for the present. So would you be willing, do you have the time and inclination to serve on the commission?
Yes, I believe I would.
That'd be awesome. And friends too, maybe?
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else have a comment? I would also like to echo Councilor DeSimone's comments. Well done. I love you talking about responsibility, and I agree that it is everybody's responsibility to be responsible for not only these sort of things. Everyone's responsible to vote. There's an election coming up. There's all of these things, and I think you captured that message very well. So I agree. Well done.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. I was just thinking about, for the last couple speakers, we've come to a place where we had to clean up the Riverwalk or Finberg, the soil there that had been, there were companies that had spilled, and now we're kind of thinking of the future. This just feels very present to me, and it seems like we're being proactive instead of always worrying about cleaning up something. It seems like we're moving forward, and I appreciate you coming to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Hearing none, is there anyone to speak in opposition?
Good evening, President Kobus, members of the council. Jack Jacoby, 15 Prince Street. As a lawyer, I always want to give the disclaimers to begin with. So even though I am a lawyer, I'm not here advocating for a client. Even though I am the chairman of the Municipal Building Commission, I have not been authorized by the commission to speak. I'm simply here speaking as Jack from Prince Street. I don't disagree with virtually everything that the prior speakers said. I think I agree with all of the things they said, except for one comment Roy Belcher made. We do have solar panels at the new high school. We have a parking lot, an entire parking lot covered with them, and we do have charging stations. They may not be operational as we speak, but they will be, if not today, within a few weeks. We also have preferred parking for electric vehicles. All of that was required by the LEED certification that we had to get in order to get extra reimbursement from the state. So I do want to correct the record on that. The reason I rise in opposition is that as a lawyer, I'm concerned with process and I'm concerned with words. I don't disagree with having a sustainability commission. What I disagree with is having an environmental master plan that has no legal authority. This is not part of our master plan. I understand that this group was given the authority to, or the opportunity, I should say, to participate in the rewriting of our master plan, which is due to come up, but they declined. They were not subject to the open meeting law. And so my understanding is that most of their meetings were not held in public, and I'm concerned about that. I am also concerned that some of the public meetings they had were at 3 o'clock in the afternoon without much happening to publicize them. So the process, I think, is a problem here. And I think that if this was presented to you as a council to adopt as the official policy of the city, then I could see a commission that was enforcing or guiding that policy. But that has not happened. What appears to be happening here is that we're trying to backdoor the environmental master plan without you actually voting on it. And I'm concerned with that. So process is extremely important. I also have problems with the way this ordinance is written. But I think Councilor Angelo's question was the one that really struck me, which is this an advocacy organization or is this an organization that is attempting to enforce a set of policies. If it was an advocacy organization, an organization like the Human Rights Commission, like the Historical Commission, groups that came to city departments, came to city hearings, came to the Building Commission as an example, and said, we think that you should take this into account in making your determinations, then I would welcome a sustainability commission. I think it would be important for us as a city to move forward in that way. But we have language that suggests that we have 7 members appointed from the public, and then 2 who are municipal representatives, appointed one each by the mayor and president of the city council. Who will those employees be? Are we giving Gary Arazian and Nick Wiley another job? I'm concerned by that. I'm also concerned as to why all of the members of the commission are not appointed and confirmed by this council. So I think you should pay some attention to that language, and you should look, in my opinion, at revising it. The other tasks that are here, they seem to imply enforcement, but they never say enforcement. And I think that is really a key for this council in determining how this commission is structured. Because if it is a resource, as Brian Hatch said, that the Building Commission can access when we're designing a new council on aging, then I would welcome that. Because having as many viewpoints as possible gets you to a better product. What I would not want to see, however, is a commission that came before us and said, you need to put heat pumps in the new council on aging because that's what the environmental master plan calls for. I think that's the Building Commission's job to come to a conclusion and then present it to the mayor and the council for funding. But I'm just concerned. I'm concerned about process, and I can't emphasize that enough. Maintaining and updating the environmental master plan is their first task, yet I think if we're going to have an environmental master plan, it ought to be official city policy. Recently, Gary Arazian wrote a policy that the federal government mandated on us to deal with disasters and what happens with those things. And it was presented to this council, and you adopted it. I think it's important that we pay attention to that. I notice here that they're tasked with managing interdepartmental recommended initiatives as outlined in the EMP action plan. I'm not sure what those words mean, but to me they sound like they will have authority to tell city department heads what to do and how to do it. And I think that's the job of the mayor. I think the mayor is the one who coordinates that. So, and I also see engaging other communities in coordinating sustainability and resiliency initiatives. Well, if they're going to reach out to other communities and say, how do we work together, that's one thing. But the way this language is written, it sounds like they're going to be negotiating on behalf of the city, and I'm concerned by that. So in closing, you can rename me Skunk at the Picnic, but I believe that if this is in the ordinance committee or wherever it is, if that committee spent some time redrafting, then I would eliminate all of the objections that I have raised to you tonight. I am just very, very concerned that this is is poorly written, it's not well crafted. The concept, however, is a great one. I would love to see us put the concept into action in a way that makes sense for us as a city.
Councilor DeSimone.
Rest assured, I share your concerns, already working on it. We can absolutely do both. We will have a commission, and we will have it in a way that's respectful of the separation of powers. I can send you over the amendments that I have in mind moving forward, but I'm already there, my friend. I'm already there.
Thank you.
You're not alone, got you.
And as you know, in my spare time, I do some volunteering for the city. So if you wanted to send me some language and ask for some suggestions, I'd be happy to give
I can send it to you and Mike as well. But we can absolutely do both in a way that respects separation of powers.
One of the things I forgot to say at the beginning was that part of the reason it was so hard to get up here tonight was that I have known people like Mike and Roy forever, and I have enormous respect for them. I have enormous respect for their talents and the time and effort that they put into this. I just am concerned about process, but I consider them to be friends of decades. And getting up here, my partner Ed Casey said to me, please, don't make enemies of people that have been your friends. And I said to him that I would do my best to not make enemies while just sharing my concerns.
Okay. And if I may, I think if we respect this initiative enough, then it's worth doing correctly. And we can and we will.
Yes.
Rest assured.
I'm with you.
Because I have nothing but, I mean, it's overdue, but we can do it the right way, and that's important. That's how we're going to respect the mission, is to do it the right way. So I will send you and Mike what I have right after this meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else, Kathleen?
No, that'll do it. Thank you.
Councilor DeSimone, excuse me. Councilor Angelo?
Thank you, President Kovas. I want to thank you for stepping up because obviously that's how government works. We can't have everybody agreeing with everybody, and so we need different opinions. And I applaud you for that. I applaud your courage in getting up here and giving us another thing to think about and listen to, and obviously doing what you feel is right and protecting the citizens of the city and stuff. And Roy and Mike and the crew have done a great job, and with everybody getting together, and Councilor DeSimone offering some information to us well, that we can get this going and moving forward, and something that works for everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. I totally agree with what you said.
Councilor Waterman.
I was going to say the exact same thing. We're both members of the Personnel Committee, and I would assume that the members who form this Sustainability Commission would come through the usual process, and if not, we need to know why the reasons are, where they go through the mayor, they go through the council, they go through our committee, the Personnel Committee, and they go through the ordinance that gets written. But that's how I would assume that it occurs. Is there any possibility, you had a lot of ideas there, can you put any of that in writing for us?
Sure.
It's already done.
It's in your head, I know.
I've already done exactly what he said. Yeah, it's already done.
I will defer to the committee chair
Okay.
if she wants me to try and dictate something that my secretary can type tomorrow. I'd be happy to do it if you feel that you've got
You didn't
the
say anything I
concept.
didn't already think about, so it's already done. So I'll send you it, and I'll send Mike it, and we can start the conversation in committee next week.
I think we have it, Councilor Waterman. Are there any other questions for Mr. Jacoby?
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition? Is there anyone here to speak neither for nor against? With that said, Councilor DeSimone, would you like to declare this public hearing closed?
Yes.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing closed then. Madam Clerk, would you like to read the notice for the next public hearing?
Second public hearing this evening to discuss the following street acceptance pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out a portion of Dale Court, length of 280.21 feet from Station 2 plus 41.37 to Station 5 plus 21.58 as a public way, and accept said way and any related drainage, water, or sewer facilities or easements, all is shown on a plan and profiled entitled Street Acceptance Plan, Dale Court Extension, Attleboro, Mass., dated June 6, 2021.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Is there anyone here to speak neither for nor against? Councilor Holmes, would you like to declare this public hearing closed?
Please.
I declare this public hearing is closed. Madam Clerk, would you like to read the notice for the final public hearing?
Sure. Third public hearing this evening to discuss the city's capital improvements program for fiscal year 2024 through 2028.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition? Is there anyone here that would like to speak neither for nor against? Councilor Conti, would you like to declare this public hearing closed?
With the comment that the capital improvement plan clears a room like none other.
Councilor Conti, would you like to declare this public hearing closed?
I will.
I declare this public hearing is now closed. All right. What is next? Let's move on to Committee of the Whole. I entertain a motion to enter Committee of the Whole.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are now in Committee of the Whole. Is there anyone here that would like to address the council on any matters on city business? Anything? I entertain a motion to arise from Committee of the Whole.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are arisen from Committee of the Whole. We'll go on to reading of the mayor's communications.
February 21st, 2023. Dear Municipal Councilors, I respectfully submit a communication from Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance, Mark Furtado, regarding the following fiscal year 2022 fiscal obligations that were not received in time to be processed in the normal FY 2022 business cycle. Groden Network, $375.09, Hub Technical, $62.20, and Lifespan School Solutions, $5,372. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to authorize school department to pay these previous year school bills totaling $5,809.29 as identified in Mr. Furtado's communications copies in your packets.
Finance Committee?
I respectfully submit a communication from Chief of Police Kyle P. Hagney regarding the donation of a black 2020 Ford Expedition four-wheel drive Platinum Edition from the Bristol County Sheriff's Office. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept this generous donation. Copies in your packets.
City property claims?
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water Courtney Allen regarding the need for funds for health insurance. A review of the health insurance accounts revealed that additional funding will be required to cover the anticipated expenses for the remainder of fiscal year 2023. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $24,000 from account 6100-578300 Water Enterprise Fund Reserve for transfer to the following: $13,000 to account 6100-517120 Water Enterprise Fund Health Insurance HMO, $11,000 to account 6100-517125 Water Enterprise Fund HMO 500. Copies in your packets.
Finance Committee?
I respectfully submit a communication from City Treasurer Laura Gignac regarding the needs for funds to pay the med tax for non-school and non-enterprise employees. A review of the med tax account reveals that additional funding will be required to cover the anticipated expenses for the remainder of fiscal year 2023. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $25,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 11451000-517240 Treasurer Medicare tax. Copies in your packets.
Finance Committee?
I respectfully submit a communication from City Treasurer Laura Gignac regarding the need for funds to pay attorney fees for the remainder of fiscal year 23. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $40,000 from account 1000-359000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 11451000-530101 Treasurer Professional Services. Copies in your packet.
Finance Committee?
I respectfully submit a communication from City Treasurer Laura Gignac regarding the need for funds to contract with an arbitrage, rebate, and refunding specialists. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $2,000 from account 11241000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 11451000-530101 Treasurer, Professional Services, copies in your packets.
Finance Committee.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Recreation Dennis Walsh regarding the need for funds in several accounts for the balance of fiscal year '23. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $13,700 from account 1630100-511000 Recreation Salary and Wages to the following: $4,000 to account 1630100-521020 Lights and Power, $2,000 to account 1630100-530101 Professional Services, $200 to account 1630100-542010 Office Supplies, and $7,500 to account 1630100-546012 Rec Grounds. Copies in your packets.
Public Works.
I respectfully submit a communication from MIS Director Bill Lennox regarding the need for funds for online services and data processing supplies for the balance of fiscal year '23. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $4,000 from account 1124-1000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to the following accounts: $1,000 to account 1133100-534030 Budget and Administration Online Services, $3,000 to account 1133100-558010 Budget and Administration, Data Processing. Copies in your packets.
IT and Infrastructure.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Planning and Development Gary Arazian requesting proposed amendments to Chapter 19 Stormwater Management Ordinance of the Revised Ordinances of the City of Attleboro. The amendments are proposed pursuant to the city's current National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Permit, NIPDES 2, which was issued by the EPA in April 2019. The NIPDES permit program is an unfunded federal mandate that obliged cities throughout the nation to address water pollution by regulating point sources that discharge pollutants to waters of the United States. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body vote on the following ordinance change in Chapter 19 Stormwater Management and call for a public hearing at the next appropriate time. Leave the
Ordinances Committee, and this is posted online publicly. Do you object to, we could read the whole thing.
No.
I did not suspend the rules, so.
I'm okay with waiving, we can read it.
It's posted online.
Sure.
Okay.
I can also read at a later date. I thought you were going to say the public hearing date. Did you say the date?
Public hearing scheduled for March 21st.
March 21st, thank you.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next.
I respectfully submit a communication from Park and Forestry Superintendent Derek Corsi regarding the need for funds for police details needed for tree removals throughout the city, porta-john cleaning, and geese abatement services at Judy Robbins Park. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $6,000 from account 1650100-511000 Park Salary and Wages to account 1650100-530101. No, 530101, yes. Park Professional Services, copies in your packets.
Public Works.
I respectfully submit a communication from Legal Secretary Allison Wood regarding equipment that the Department of Public Works would like to declare as surplus for trade-in value. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to declare the following as surplus and available for disposition. Copies in your packets. Year 1989 International S1 6000, VIN number 1HTLAZPP1KH670004, very poor condition, a 1997 GMC Sierra, VIN number 1GDHK34F1VF052251, very poor condition, a 1970 Mueller 6 cubic foot cement mixer, VIN number 7750.7, very poor condition. A 2000 Stone 4 cubic feet mortar mixer, VIN number 172010195, very poor condition. A 1999 Graco line laser 1 paint machine, GM3500-GC01, very poor condition. And a 2001 Graco line laser 2 paint machine, VIN number GM3900-QX 0.52, very poor condition.
City property.
I respectfully submit a communication from Legal Secretary Allison Wood regarding items that the Water Department would like to declare as surplus. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to declare the following as surplus and available for disposition. 200 water meters in used condition. A 2010 Ford Ranger, VIN number 1FTKR1EE7APA04211, bed and body rot.
City property claims.
I respectfully submit a communication from Legal Secretary Allison Wood regarding file systems that the Police Department would like to declare as surplus. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to declare the following as surplus and available for disposition. Copies in your packet.
City property claims.
Sincerely, James J. Delicio, Acting Mayor.
And if you could read the clerk's communications.
Clerk's communication, Tuesday, February the 21st, 2023. We have received a letter from the Board of Directors of the Attleboro Land Trust urging the Municipal Council to adopt the Environmental Master Plan and to create a Sustainability Commission to put that plan into action.
Ordinances Committee.
We have received a letter from Superintendent of Schools, David Sawyer, in support of the establishment of a Sustainability Commission.
Ordinances Committee.
We have received a letter from Attleboro Housing Authority endorsing the formation of a Sustainability Commission here in Attleboro.
Ordinances Committee.
We have received a letter from the Planning Board stating that the Planning Board voted unanimously to recommend to the Municipal Council to reject all of the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance relative to the regulation of marijuana businesses that were the subject of the joint public hearing held on January 17th, 2023.
Ordinances Committee.
Includes the clerk's communication.
Thank you. And we will move on to the committee reports, and we'll start with Councilor Waterman.
The License Committee does not have any business this evening. We'll meet at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Dolan.
Reporting for Public Works Committee from the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to approve the intermunicipal agreement by and between the town of Mansfield and the city of Attleboro for municipal water service in certain portions of Mansfield, Massachusetts.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Dolan.
No comments, we discussed in committee.
This requires a roll call vote. Start with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to appropriate $112,159.96 from account Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account Water Enterprise Fund water meters for meters, fittings, supplies, and one new set of meter reading equipment.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Dolan.
No comments, we discussed in committee.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. This requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to appropriate $65,000 from account Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account Water Enterprise Fund sewer services to replenish funds used in various accounts for emergency work, increased costs in CDL training, well maintenance, and vehicle maintenance.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Dolan.
No comments, we discussed this in committee.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to appropriate $100,000 from account Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account Water Enterprise Fund plant improvement to fund the replacement of traveling screens at the West Street plant.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Dolan.
Discussed in committee, no comments.
Any other questions or comments?
There's a typo.
Yeah, I said screen, so, no, we don't need to amend anything. There was just a typo on the word screens.
Yep. Got it. Any other questions or comments?
None.
Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to approve $2,125 to be used towards the increased cost of the Smithco lawn sweeper once the ferrous stand on leaf blower is purchased at a price less than originally quoted.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Dolan.
No comments we discussed in committee, just this applies to the next vote as well.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Counselor Waterman.
It's DeSimone. DeSimone. That's it.
Is it?
I think it's Waterman.
I think it is.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds? Yes. Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10
Sorry.
yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to transfer $3,900 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for Capital to account Park Equipment for the increased cost of the Smithco lawn sweeper.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Dolan.
Same as the last one. We had one come in lower, one came in higher, and we just switched around.
Any other questions or comments? Counselor Bennett.
Just one tiny question. So I noticed the amounts are different. The first motion was for 2125 to go toward the increased cost. Is that delta covered somewhere else between the 3,900 and the 2125?
Yes, so this was, if you go to, hold on one second. All right, so we voted on the Smithco sweeper, and it was for $14,325 to purchase the leaf blower. The stand-on leaf blower, the city is able to purchase this equipment for $2,125 less than the original quote. So that's where the $2,125 comes from the less on the blower. Then we're taking that $2,125 to go towards the increased cost of the lawn sweeper. And then we are, do I have that one in here?
That's right.
Yep, the 3,900. So then we're transferring 3,900 to account for the increased cost of the sweeper. So the,
And that 2125 is transferring into that 39 to replenish some of that 3,900.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Make sense?
I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, did I read, I don't even remember if I read the whole thing now.
You're all set, yes. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yeah.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
So did I just read the $3,900 one?
Yes.
Is that the one I just read? All right,
Yes,
thank
you
you. From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to transfer $8,115.47 from Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Park Supplies Ground to purchase fertilizer, lime, and pesticides for the remainder of fiscal year '23.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Dolan.
Prices went up. We discussed in committee.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Counselor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes? Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to transfer $8,000 from account Park Salary and Wages to account Park Vehicle Maintenance to repair the fuel system on the bucket truck and install an aluminum truck bed on the pickup.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Dolan.
We discussed this in committee. I don't have any further comments.
Any other questions? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to appropriate $21,932 from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account public works gasoline fuel.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Dolan.
Gas went up. We need to cover this for the rest of the year.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to appropriate $62,835 from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account public works diesel fuel.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Dolan.
Same as above, just need to cover the diesel.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Counselor Dolan.
That's all the business I have for public works, and look forward to a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Very much. Counselor Conti.
Thank you, Mr. Acting President. Reporting for Finance Committee from the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to approve expending of such funds and any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of a state legislative appropriation, which was 1599-6090, and the fiscal year 2023 Economic Development Bill to perform an industrial development strategy. The funds are being administered through the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Conti.
Yes, this is an important study because, as you know, industrial development pays about 30% more in taxes than the residences do. And any further development in this arena would be helpful to alleviate the tax burden on residents. But additionally, it will help us come up with a plan on how we may further utilize the industrial land that remains in the city of Attleboro that has not been yet developed, or perhaps allocate additional industrial land to be developed. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments?
Just a quick question.
Councilor
There's no
Blair.
city money involved
None.
in this. This is an outside agency coming
Correct.
in to do it, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank
Counselor
you.
Conti.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to transfer $5,160 from the Assessor's Legal Services account to the Assessor's Subscription account for a 12-month subscription to CoStar beginning March 1st, 2023.
Second.
Motion is in order. Counselor Conti.
Yes, I explained last week that this is a commercial database that is maintained daily by an organization up in Boston that's actually international, and it is like the multiple listing service for commercial properties, essential to an assessor who has a sizable industrial tax base. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any other questions? This requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Counselor Conti.
Thank you. From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to authorize the city to expend $2.5 million of ARPA revenue replacement funds on costs associated with the Attleboro-Pawtucket Emergency Water Interconnection Project.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Conti.
Well, for $2.5 million, we could easily discuss this for the next hour, but we're not, because we did discuss it fully last week during my committee meeting, including what the totals are on this Attleboro Pawtucket water connection, and the fact that this isn't going to do it. It's going to take more dollars than this. It's an important advancement for the city in the future, and particularly in the case of emergencies, and I would highly encourage my fellow councilors to support it, and that concludes my comments.
Councilor Blair.
This is another item that should have been taken care of years ago when it was first brought in. I know they've had some pitfalls that were brought up, land and whatnot down there, but this, the $2.5 billion isn't going to cover. When this was brought up, I think it was 6 years ago, maybe?
More.
The estimate at that time was nothing compared to this. So sometimes we sit on things too long. This was sat on too long. End of comment.
If I may, Mr. Acting President.
Councilor Conti.
I think that the city did not fully understand the expense of this project when it got involved in this project. Or, worse, it wasn't fully explored and divulged to the public. This project has had hiccups, as you said, during the process. But the important aspect about this motion, to your comment, is that this is federal government dollars rather than city dollars. So while it's still taxpayer dollars.
It is now.
Yep, right, it is now, and we didn't have ARPA back when we started this project.
We're lucky we have ARPA.
We are incredibly blessed to be able to get the federal government dollars to do this project and other projects that are coming down the pike. It is truly important for the welfare of the city of Attleboro.
To have that connection.
Are there any other questions or comments? This requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to approve the expending of such funds and any future grant amendments regarding the receipt of the fiscal year 23 municipal ADA improvement grant through the Executive Director of the Massachusetts Office on Disability, also known as MOD. On behalf of the Secretary of the Executive Office of the Administration and Finance, also known as EOAF, a maximum amount of $87,000 to bring the city's signage into ADA compliance.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Conti.
Yes, there is no city matching funds for this grant, and we did discuss it in committee, and it's going to bring a large visual change to the city.
Are there any other comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yeah.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Acting President. From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to accept the $1,233,000 Bristol County ARPA allocation in the form of a grant pursuant to the terms and conditions of the grant agreement for the purchase of various ARPA-eligible wastewater equipment to include Vector sewer truck, water booster system, 2 generators, including installation.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Conti.
This is pretty self-explanatory, and a blessing for us to have it. And that concludes my comments.
Any other comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Acting President. From the docket of January 3rd, 2023, I move to appropriate $195,843.41 from general fund undesignated free cash account to the COVID FEMA fund to cover COVID-related emergency expenses not covered by the COVID FEMA grant.
Second.
Motion's in order. Council Conti.
Yes, this is what can go wrong with a grant in that they change the parameters through the process. COVID, unlike the ARPA and the motion we just passed for 1.5 million, COVID came on suddenly and the government was moving quickly, FEMA was moving even quicker to institute policies to prevent the spread of COVID faster than they figured out what they would cover and what they could afford and what they would pay for. So we went racing down the path to protect ourselves from COVID, spending all the things that we thought would be covered by the FEMA COVID grant, only to learn that the rules changed during the process and they would not be covered, and therefore, this motion.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. And finally, I move to strike the following from the docket of October 4th, 2022. A request for the Treasurer, Auditor, and Vice President of Finance to appear for the Finance Committee on September 27th, 2002 for updates.
Second.
Motion's in order. Council Conti.
We were updated. I'm happy to get it off my docket.
Fair enough. Motion's in order. It says this requires a roll call vote, so we'll go with that. This requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
That concludes the business of the Finance Committee to bring before the council this evening. We look forward to a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Bennett.
Thank you. Transportation and Traffic Committee has no business for the full council this evening, but we request a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Blair.
Thank you. Reporting for Public Safety Committee. From the docket of 2/14/23. From the docket of February 21st, 23, I entertain a motion to appropriate $34,856.08 from account 1-000-359000, undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to the following. $14,800 to account 12101-000-532012, Police Academy tuition. $4,668.60 to account 1201000-558208, Police Supplies. $10,000 to account 1210000-558310, Police Uniforms. $5,387.48 to account 121010000-530104, Police Medical Consultation.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Blair.
This is money needed to send our recruits to the academy.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds? Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $126,519.20 from account 1000-359-000 undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account 12201-000-511000 fire salary and wages to replenish funds used to make an earned time payment to employee who retired.
Second.
Motion's in order. Council Blair?
This is contractual. It's a big amount. It's a nice going away gift for a gentleman that's served our city well. And that amount, if he had taken it, the time owed would have far exceeded that in time and a half payments. So, although it seems like a tremendous amount, it would have been more. It would have cost the city more over that period of time in time and a half coverage if he had taken the time. That's so that people would understand at home. It's a going away gift, but he earned every dime of it.
Hopefully we get a postcard.
Yeah, me too.
Perfect. Well said. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I entertain a motion to replenish funds used to purchase uniforms for 5 recruit firefighters and 1 civilian dispatcher and transfer $2,700 from account 12201-000-587385 fire retrofit lights to account 12201-000-558211 fire Scott Air Pack.
Second.
Motion's in order. Council Blair?
Pretty self-explanatory, I think.
Any questions? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of January 3rd, 2023, I entertain a motion to approve the following loan order. I move to approve expending of such funds in you'll have to excuse me a second. I'll go on this one. I move to approve the following loan order, that $475,000 be appropriated for the cost of purchasing an equipment and ambulance, that to meet the appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $475,000 under Section 7, Section 1 of Chapter 44 of the General Laws, or any other enabling authority, and that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary to carry out this project.
Second.
Motion's in order.
A lot of money, but it's a necessity, and the time to get one, as it's been explained, is extraordinarily long. So we haven't even received the first one that we approved over 2 years ago. So this is forward thinking.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you.
And Did you
I
miss-
skipped one.
Okay, thank you.
It was half on one page, half on the other.
Got it.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to approve expending and of such funds and any further grant amendments by the Attleboro Fire Department regarding the receipt of the FY 2023 Student Awareness Fire Education Grant and the FY 2023 Senior Safe Grant from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in the amount of $7,958.
Second.
Motion's in order.
This is money used by the fire department to educate our senior citizens and also students.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Finally,
And if I could, before you read the final one, this last motion will read differently than it's written on your printed motions. According to our rules and procedures, everyone's allowed to request a printed copy of how it's written. So if, after you read it, if you have questions on it and want to request a printed copy of it, we can have a recess and we can print a copy of it for everybody if you have questions on how it's read. So we'll have it read. It's very straightforward, but we'll move forward, and if anyone wants to have a recess and have it printed, we can do that. But with that said, Councilor Blair, please go ahead.
from the docket of January 3rd, 2023, I move to amend the ordinance 6-5 fire prevention fee schedule by removing the following row under flammable combustible materials and hazardous material permits. Row 1, storage of flammable and combustible liquids, gases, or solid permits. Annual fee, $50.
Second.
Motion's in order.
We had a public hearing on this. And we had residents bring it to our attention. This is a fee charged for a service we don't deliver. There's no service connected with this fee. They pay an installation fee when they start, but this is just an annual fee that I personally think if you're not getting a service, you shouldn't pay.
Amen.
Any questions?
Councilor Holmes?
Thank you. What was the effective date on that? So starting this year, what was the date effective?
Effective the amendment?
Like,
Can't be effective until the next fiscal year.
is that what?
Fiscal
okay.
year.
Okay.
Which is
Okay.
in June.
Concludes my comments. I'm just wondering.
Right
You
before
sounded
the
very
bill.
positive on that, Richard.
Well,
I think
because
you're
we've
right.
already budgeted the income and forecasted the income, so it has to be the next fiscal year where it
We-
won't be there, we don't have to budget for it.
It'd be starting in July.
July 1.
Okay. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate your
You're welcome.
comment.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
So when the bills are issued.
Hearing none?
Councilor Conti, can you move to make an amendment to this motion to say effective
Well,
July
here's the
1st?
thing, Council Dolan just reminded me that all the bills go out July 1. So if we pass the ordinance now, none of the bills are gonna go out next year, so it really is, it's moot.
irrelevant.
It's a moot
Okay.
point.
Fair enough.
You all set?
Yes.
Okay, I know it was confusing, but
Fair. Good.
call for vote?
Any other questions? We sure? Hearing no other questions, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We have no other business this evening, so we'll call for committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Outstanding. Counselor Holmes?
Thank you. Reporting for IT and Infrastructure Committee, no business this evening, but we'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time. Also reporting for Zoning and Land Use Committee, no business this evening, but we'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Reynolds?
Reporting for City Property and Claims from the docket of February 21st, 2023. I move to approve a 42-month lease agreement with Konica Minolta for 13 copiers to be deployed throughout the Attleboro School Department District.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Reynolds?
I have no more
Perfect.
further to say. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Sounds good. Motions in order. We'll call for a vote, starting with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to approve a 36-month lease and service agreement between the City of Attleboro and Axion Business Technologies for a Toshiba 2520 AC copier. The lease and service agreement will be funded in full by Community Development Block Grant.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor
I
Reynolds?
have no further comments. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Counselor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
And that's all the business City Property and Claims has this evening, but we would like to call a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Angelo?
Thank you, President Cobus. Reporting for Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee from the docket of February 21st, 2023. I move to approve expending such funds and any future grant amendments regarding the award of the Attleboro Cultural Council fiscal year 23 allocation for the Massachusetts Cultural Council in the amount of $37,900 with no matching requirement.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor Angelo?
We discussed this in committee.
Perfect. Any other questions? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
For the docket of February 21st, 2023, I move to approve the Attleboro Crossing Guards Association MOA for fiscal years 2024 to 2026.
Second.
Motion's in order.
We discussed this in committee.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Counselor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
For the docket of February 21, 2023, I move to add a grade 6 Assistant Director of Recreation to the exempt classification plan.
Second.
Motion is in order. Counselor Angelo.
And we discussed this in committee as well, too.
Excellent. Any Counselor Dolan?
I have a comment, if I may.
Absolutely.
So when we discussed this in committee, I was in full support of it, and I still am. This is part of the succession plan. And I had said that Dennis had 1 foot out the door. So apparently there's more than one definition to this. So I would like to clarify my meaning of this. When I said that, it was in no way to imply that Dennis Walsh, our superintendent, has any lack of commitment to his job. I don't think I've ever been shy in expressing my adoration and appreciation for his decades of hard work for the city. So I wanted to clarify my position on that. If I'm glad you indulged me. Thank you.
Are there any other comments here? In adding an exempt person to the roles is a big thing. So I want to make sure that we do our due diligence and air out have any discussions that we need to have before voting, so.
Well, this is basically, I think we talked in committee about it, saying that we're combining two people and we're promoting within, and so I think when it comes down to it, we're actually saving money.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Counselor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
From the docket of February 21, 2023, entertain a motion to transfer $18,573.62 from account citywide reserve fund transfer to account accounting salary and wage full-time to begin the hiring process of an assistant city auditor fiscal year 23.
Second.
Motion's in order.
We discussed
Counselor
this in
Angelo?
committee. Obviously, this has been a plan in place for a good year plus now, and we need to get this going.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none? All right. I don't want to rush these things, so, I mean, if there are comments. Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote. We'll start with Counselor DeSimone.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
And that concludes the Personnel Veterans Human Services Committee. They go for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you, Counselor Angelo. Counselor DeSimone.
All righty then. Thank you. Reporting for ordinances and legislative matters. I have 3 items for the council's consideration from the docket of February 21st, 2023. I move to call for a public hearing on March 21st, 2023 to amend section 10-7.2 regarding municipal parking.
Second.
Motion's in order. Counselor DeSimone.
Nope, just that we need a hearing because it's an ordinance amendment.
Sounds good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
All right, next up, from the docket of August 16th, 2022, I'm going to read the proposed amendments to section, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry.
Thank you. Sorry, Council Bennett.
Thank you.
Good. All right, so from the docket of August 16th, 2022, proposed amendments to Ordinance 17. Proposed amended language as of December 20th, 22. In order to allow marijuana retail businesses to operate locations zoned as general business and planned highway business, and to amend the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro as follows: to delete section 17-3.4 table of use regulations, principal uses, community facilities, item 11C, as it appears on your paper there, and replace it on the next table, on the next page rather, to add item 21, the chart reflected therein, which breaks out several various marijuana businesses in the zoning areas in which they are allowed to operate by special permit or not operate at all. To amend section 17-11.2 definitions by replacing the definition of marijuana establishment as follows: marijuana establishment means a marijuana cultivator, craft marijuana cooperative, marijuana product manufacturer, marijuana retailer, independent marijuana testing laboratory, marijuana research facility, marijuana transporter, marijuana courier, marijuana delivery operator, or any other type of licensed marijuana-related businesses except for a medical marijuana treatment center, MMTC. Amend section 17-11.2 definitions by adding a definition for marijuana courier as follows: marijuana courier means an entity licensed to deliver finished marijuana products, marijuana accessories, and branded goods directly to consumers from a marijuana retailer, or directly to registered qualifying patients or caregivers from an MTC, but is not authorized to sell marijuana or marijuana products directly to consumers, registered qualifying patients or caregivers, and is not authorized to wholesale, warehouse, process, repackage, or white label. A marijuana courier is an additional license type under MGL Chapter 94G, Section 4B1 that allows for limited delivery of marijuana or marijuana products to consumers and shall not be considered to be a marijuana retailer under 935 CMR 500.002 or 500.050 and shall be subject to 935 CMR 500.0501B. Amend Section 17-11 definitions by adding a definition for marijuana delivery operator as follows.
Do you want me to continue reading so you don't?
Good.
You good? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Marijuana delivery operator means an entity licensed to purchase at wholesale or warehouse finished marijuana products acquired from a marijuana cultivator, marijuana product manufacturer, microbusiness, or craft marijuana cooperative and white label. Sell and deliver finished marijuana products, marijuana accessories, and marijuana branded goods directly to consumers, but is not authorized to repackage marijuana or marijuana products or operate a storefront under this license. A delivery operator is an additional license type under MGL Chapter 94G, Section 4B1 that allows for limited delivery of marijuana or marijuana products to consumers and shall not be considered to be a marijuana retailer under 935 CMR 500.002 or 500.050 and shall be subject to 935 CMR 500.0501B. Amends Section 17-10.15 F6 general requirements by changing hours to read marijuana retail sales or medical marijuana patient sales may not occur within the hours of 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. and may be further restricted as a condition of approval of the special permit issued by the special permit granting authority. To amend Section 17-10.15 G2 marijuana businesses uses, to basically strike the existing section and replace with the second paragraph there that says the resulting language would then read, the special permit granting authority may not grant a special permit for a marijuana retailer if 5 or more retail establishments are actively in operation within the city. This provision shall not prohibit an active or permitted marijuana retailer from applying to the special permit granting authority for a special permit in a new location within the city, provided that if 5 or more marijuana retailers are in operation at the time such application is filed, any special permit for a new location shall include a condition that the original special permit shall be null and void, such that no additional location shall be created.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor DeSimone.
Yes, if I may. I didn't read the chart pertaining to adding Section 21, but we're, as we all know at this point, what we're doing here is giving marijuana retailers the opportunity to exist and do business in general business and planned highway business in addition to industrial and industrial business parks. That's the thrust of that particular section there.
Thank you.
And, yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it also changes the hours?
Yes, the hours were 8 to 8, they're expanded to 11 to 8. Or 8 to 11,
from
strike that.
8 to
8 to
11.
11, yeah.
Perfect.
And if I may, should I comment on the planning board decision? So last time we spoke in committee, I had a... Sorry.
There was a second,
Yeah,
yes.
At the committee last week, we discussed this and we struck some other business pertaining to the overlay. I was under the understanding that the planning board did not like the overlay, so we dismissed it and we were proceeding with the original amendments as proposed last year. I just got the planning board decision early this evening, and I understand from what it looks like that they shot everything down with no explanation provided. And in as much as they passed this, and I forget the vote that it was in the fall, I forget if it was unanimous or something, but it was at least a solid group. I'm prepared to move forward, and I say that in respect to that body. I think we've given this issue quite a bit of discussion and narration and thought and time and energy, and that we owe it to all parties involved to vote this evening, so I'm prepared to. I would like to do that.
And Councilor DeSimone,
Yep.
please correct me. The way it's written, it's planned highway business in general business.
Yes.
It's not central business, correct? It's
No.
just those
Never
two.
was, is
Never
not.
was central.
And, okay.
Yep,
It-
this is exactly, Vice President Kobus, exactly as it was when we voted on it in December. That's what's before us right now.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Councilor Conti, and then Councilor Blair.
So if I could, through the acting president, to Madam Clerk, your clerk's communications tonight says that we have received a letter from the planning board stating that the planning board voted unanimously, and the letter's not included in our package.
Yes, it is. I put them all in your pocket.
Can I see where?
Certificate of vote.
I didn't
There's
see
no
it.
explanation.
There is no letter per se. It is just the certificate of vote.
Yeah.
So it's really just a certificate of vote. They didn't go into any explanation of why they were, let me quote, voted unanimously to recommend to the council to reject all of the proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance relative to the regulation of marijuana businesses. That's it, just the certificate of vote.
Correct.
Well, I don't think that that should be dismissed so easily. Counselor DeSimone wants to run right through this, which is, that's your trait. You like to push things forward. If you could, everything would go through in two weeks, and that's not going to happen.
Point of order. This is a point of order.
So I have the floor.
Excuse me. A point of order.
I have the
don't think
floor.
we should be attacking other counselors.
That's a whole
Please.
other discussion.
Please don't attack other councilors, but
Fine.
proceed.
So, the certificate of vote for the planning board, I take very seriously, because it is, because I used to serve on the zoning board. For 6 years, I served on the zoning board. And I don't like that the board that is responsible for the ordinances is going to readily dismiss another board like the planning board. And so it's changed my vote. I won't be voting in favor of this tonight, because I don't like this council ignoring the planning board. And that concludes my comments.
Councilor Blair.
Richard, you could have said it more eloquently.
I could have said it more eloquently.
Yeah, probably. And taken up more time. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. Evidently, and unanimously on that board, they had to have a reason. And if you discount them all together, then that's doing away with the process we have. I would suggest, and this is only a suggestion, that we look at this vote and see if we can get some information from the planning board and put this vote off till after, or for the next full meeting next month. I won't be voting for it either, and if Richard's not voting for it, it's gonna fail tonight. You need 8 votes.
And if I could say something, I was a little bit frustrated earlier tonight when I saw the planning board's response, because initially they were in favor of what we had put forward, and now all of a sudden it was the exact same thing and they had rejected it. And so I was a little bit frustrated. So I was thinking about moving forward as well. And I agree with you, Councilor Conti, that we should probably get more of an explanation, and let's have a little bit more of a conversation. But I think the way forward tonight, once we finish this conversation, if Councilor Holmes, if you're okay with rescinding your second after we've finished the conversation, I think we should do that. But I did want to have this conversation and have it publicly and transparently, so that the public could see, so that we weren't having a backroom conversation. I think it was important for us to have this conversation publicly. But so let's continue the conversation. But then I think the path forward is for us to get more of an opinion from the planning board for why they decided what they decided. So I have Counselor DeSimone next, and then Counselor Angelo.
Okay, so although I take issue with the, with Councilor Conti's, my goal, as I said, this has been fully vetted. My goal is not to undermine the authority of any board. I am a thoughtful, reasonable person, so I'm not trying to do anything here that is other than resolve this business that's been pending before this council for several months. So I resent your characterization of the way that I handle my business. However, having said that, I am in fact a person of reason. And if this body thinks it's better to give it time, I would like to know why too, frankly, but they didn't do that. They didn't give us the answer why. But if this body thinks it's prudent to wait, I'm okay with waiting.
Thank you. Counselor Angelo?
I would like to applaud the committee for working their tail off on dotting the i's and crossing the t's, because I think they did a great job with it, along with the planning department. That was all in agreement, and I could be wrong, but now we get a letter with no explanation, no nothing. I don't even think that should even be accepted into the committee, or even posted out there without an explanation. You know, if they're gonna send something, they should be given an explanation. If not, it shouldn't even be accepted and even read into record or anything. And that's about it for me.
Counselor Holmes and Counselor Reynolds.
Thank you. I'm hoping that if the chair can please provide the information in the fall, if we can get that email sent to us about what the planning department said in the fall. I'm hoping to have that, and then as well as potentially getting some more information. With that being said, this has been before us, and it's starting to feel a little like me, like some councils are just trying to be obstructionists. This is not innovative. This is not future focused. Every other community is doing this. This is not something that's unique to Attleboro. And we are just trying to be in line with where the business is right now and what's being required. As we've mentioned before, we came out early and we had this in an industrial area. It didn't necessarily make sense because people don't usually go to purchase items in an industrial area, but we tried to do this early, and we did financially benefit from that. Now times are changing and we need to catch up with them. So that's all this ordinance is really doing. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Reynolds?
So first, I do want to defend my fellow counselor. I wanted to push it as much as she did. I'm sick of it, quite honestly. We've had it for a long time now, and we have made many, many changes in order to try to appease not just the planning board, but our fellow counselors, and I thought we had it. I know in January 17th of 2023, our first public hearing that we had a joint public hearing, it was approved. That was approved when we added the IBP, the PHP, and general business. We added those 3 sites to the industrial. The planning board approved it, and we had a charter objection which threw us out of the, because we were already at 90 days. So it threw us out. We couldn't vote again in 2 weeks. So that was a problem. Then we went to an overlay where we again had a joint public hearing. And we went to the overlay because both Mrs. DeSimone and myself had been advised that our own planning board person was on board with us. He helped us design that map. We did not do anything by ourselves. We started to, and then we got help from him. And then the entire planning board turned it down, 5-0, just recently. Which then we told everybody, okay, we're going to go back to what we originally did, which they approved. And that's what we took out tonight, what they approved. So I'm right in line here with Councilor Angelo, that for them to send that down with absolutely no explanation, doesn't even deserve to be on here. We shouldn't even be considering it because they've had a week already to let us know, and then we get it today at the very last minute. No call, she didn't get a call, I didn't get a call, nobody got a call minutes before we get this. Pardon the expression, but that's just you know what. And I hate to be the skunk at the party, as everybody says, but this is just so inappropriate. And that we have to once again move back and either kowtow or get back, whatever, to something that already had been approved by the planning board, and we're just going back that way is just so unfair, and those are my comments.
Counselor Dolan?
So I agree with everything Council Holmes says, everything that Council Reynolds says, and everything Michelangelo says, Councilor Angelo. And I also want to defend Councilor DeSimone, who works harder than anybody on these ordinances, and to be referred to that she's rushing is kind of gross, and that's not how she works. She's extremely careful and works really hard on all this stuff. And I agree that for us to get this the day of us voting on something that they already approved, and then they turn around and unanimously reject without any explanation is, I don't even know what happened here. I think it was infuriating to see this with no words, no, hey, this is what we were thinking, nothing. I would be ready to go, but if we're going to be held up yet again, then we'll rescind the second and do whatever we have to do and do it all over again.
Well, I agree. I'll defer to the will of this body if we're okay with moving forward. And I think it's up to Councilor Conti in what you want to do or what this body wants to do as far as moving forward, because it is frustrating that we received this at the last minute. We already have a judgment from the planning board for this exact same language, approving this language of this ordinance change, saying that they approve this. The exact same language saying, we approve this, we want this to move forward. The exact same language. I mean, they're allowed to change their mind. We're also allowed to go against the will of the planning board. That is our purview to do that. Generally speaking, I don't like to do that. Generally speaking, I don't want to do that. I respect the planning board. It is in our purview to do so. And in this case where we have two different rulings, I would go with the first one, personally, in this case. Councilor Blair.
As you said, everybody's got a right to change their mind.
They do.
I brought business forward, other councilors had. Seemed like it was a go, and you get to a vote, and all of a sudden, it's a no, right? This was a new, and it was brought up. This started from square one when this one come in. It didn't go back to the last one.
Yeah.
It might have read the same, but it did not, it didn't just continue on from the old one. It was a new process that Kathleen brought forward, and like you said, it's the same thing, but it's a new process. And evidently, somebody changed their mind, and it wasn't just one, it was unanimous. So all I'm asking, and I don't know about Richard, but I'd like some explanation from him, and if not, I'm gonna vote no. I think Richard's gonna vote no, and you don't have 8 votes to pass it. So it's in your best interest, or this council's best interest, is to get something from the planning board.
Councilor Dolan, the Councilor.
So it's not start anew. It's the same exact one. You only had to start anew because the 90 days were up.
It still started new.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Yes, but it's the exact same language. The exact same language of what they approved. And so every single board member all of a sudden changed their mind to a unanimous no on something that was, I think, almost unanimous. There might have been one, and I don't quote me, I'm not sure, but it was almost unanimous last time if it wasn't unanimous. So, and, I mean, even if we get an explanation, you're not gonna vote yes anyway, so I'm not sure.
Richard might.
Well, so he
If
can
you got
decide,
that-
he can decide on his own, so, yeah.
I had nothing to do with it.
All right, that concludes my comments.
Counselor Holmes.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, if they want to be taken seriously here, then they need to produce information of why this had changed. So it's hard to take this just unanimous no vote serious in some ways. So as Councilor Blair said, if it fails, how soon can this be brought out again for a vote? Can you speak to that at all, or does the chair know?
You mean,
Like introduced to new business in June and potentially voted again, or we have to wait a full, do we
no,
have
I
to
don't
wait?
know of anything that,
We have to wait a full year for an ordinance that
is that because it's
fails.
zoning? Because I'm not aware of that rule for everything, I'm not aware of that. Where does it say that we have to wait a year to reintroduce business?
My understanding is that it's 1 year. I would have to look it up in the rules and procedures.
I've yet to find the authority for that, but
Okay, I
I
could be wrong.
too, I don't know.
Counselor Reynolds and then Counselor
But
Angela.
if we don't vote tonight, if we take it off, and we demand a response that's more than something like from a child saying, no, I don't want to have it happen, so you get a real response, then we just bring it back out as business at the committee, and we vote on it again. So we're talking 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Before so we just, to me, we pull it back. I mean, obviously, look, we need Rick's vote, and that's what, we need 8. So I'm not gonna vote on it and have it go down and then have to wait a year. I think it makes sense to pull it back out, get the response, and we can even decide at that point, we get a response, we can say, well, we disagree with you. You've given us your response as to why you voted, took it down, and we disagree.
And does anyone have an objection to a full council meeting next Tuesday? Because I believe.
No.
No objection, or?
Oh, I object to next Tuesday.
I believe
Tuesday's an
Dennis.
election.
Dennis Walsh. Okay. Oh, that's.
And
that's fair. All right.
we've never done major business.
On an election.
All the time I've been here.
I believe
on an
Dennis
election
Walsh is
day.
looking for some business that he needs to
It's
vote
got to
on.
get through the committee.
That's fair. Okay. Disregard. No, it's not going to happen on Tuesday then.
So I just to clarify for the record, so I have before me the planning board's vote from November. It was a 5-1 in favor. Now, I want to state in fairness to them, what they have here, they didn't, when they voted on it, I think we changed the hours after their vote. And then we revised the information about the transfer, taking it with you to the new location. So those were 2 changes we made after their vote, just to be completely fair. But
That was Gary's.
yeah,
Right.
but I don't know how that factors in. So here's my question, though. Inasmuch as that body has given a decision, how does it go back then and then elaborate on they gave us a formal, I'm just curious how they're going to do that, because I did speak to the city planner, as you did earlier this evening, and he had nothing to add. So I don't know what it's going to look like. So I guess my question is, we might get not a whole lot, in which case we're going to move.
We gotta move on.
Either way, so I will try to get information. I don't know what we're gonna get, to be honest with you. But it was 5-1 the last time on the change of zoning particular,
November,
which is the meat of the issue.
Counselor Angela.
Just to add one thing, I'm okay with voting on this again in a couple of weeks and finding out what this, the committee had decided on why they made this decision. But also, this is money that this city is going to lose if we go against this, for the police, for the fire, for whoever else is getting this money, if we go against this.
For no real good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as the council president, and based on this discussion, I do think it's important that we do our due diligence, that we do hear from the planning board and get more of an opinion from them and wait the 2 weeks. I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating to me personally. And I respect everybody. I am in the same boat as everybody else in being frustrated with getting that opinion so late. I was in the same boat with Councilor DeSimone, and I also wanted to have a vote tonight. I also wanted to have that vote tonight. So, Counselor Conti, you're being frustrated with, in wanting to have that vote tonight. I also wanted to have that vote tonight. So, Counselor Conti?
So I've not asked for the floor because you asked for a discussion, and I wanted everybody to have, to freely speak their opinions, and I agree with a lot of the things that I've heard tonight. I take my votes very seriously on this council, and I know that if we took a vote tonight with that one sentence line on the clerk's committee, that there was a unanimous vote from the planning board against any change in marijuana, I'm just not comfortable. And, you know, I could file a charter objection because I'm not comfortable to vote, and that's what charter objections are for. But, you know, I've pulled that once already on this subject, and I'm, you know, I don't want to look like a charter objection master. The reality is, I share your opinion. I share Councilor Reynolds' opinion. I think it was Councilor Blair's opinion that something happened between a 1-5 vote and a unanimous against changing anything. Something has happened. And maybe it's a whole new planning board. That's possible. This has gone on for a long time. But I'm not comfortable in a democratic system of not having the respect of a whole nother board that we appointed to get this tonight and vote tonight. Totally wrong. So if the vote was taken tonight, absolutely not. Because of those reasons. I have to live with myself. So, I'm sorry, but, you know, 2 weeks isn't going to kill us, and you can take it up. You know, you could only have to wait a year if there's a vote taken. If we're smart, we won't take a vote tonight. We'll find out, we'll do our diligence of what's going on, because I think we owe ourselves to do that. What happened? In a couple of weeks, we go again.
Democracy.
That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Democracy is happening. I'm happy that we are being transparent. I hope we can all be like Mr. Jacoby was earlier and disagree without being disagreeable. So, Councilor Blair.
Just a comment to Councilor Angelo. We're not losing all the money. If we've got to run this city on drug money, all of us are sitting on the wrong board.
Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. I'm hoping that through you, that the chair can speak, if the chair wants to hold off for 2 weeks, or how the chair is feeling about this.
Do you rescind your second?
I've already indicated I'm fine with that. As I said, despite what you may have heard, I'm a person of reason. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Okay, so I will rescind my second.
Thank you. Councilor DeSavon.
That's it. That's all the business for this committee this evening. We look forward to a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Outstanding. All right. What's next?
You have one more.
And Councilor Angelo.
All right, thank you, President Cobus. Reporting for Special Committee Classification Compensation for the docket of February 21, 2023. I move to appropriate $45,000 from account undesignated fund balance free cash general government to account personnel classification study to hire an outside firm to perform an in-depth analysis of wages, benefits, job duties, etc.
Second.
Motion's in order.
We discussed this in committee, and I think this is a good thing. We're going to finally get this going.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll start with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. DeSimone?
Yes.
Acting President Cobus?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
And that concludes the business for tonight, and call for a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. We have no old business. We have one item of new business, and for that, I'll recognize Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. We move to refer the following for study and recommendation, and amend that the municipal council and school committee members be granted a salary increase that falls in line with today's minimum wage and cost of living.
Second.
Motion's in order. Councilor Holmes?
Thank you. This hasn't been reviewed for over 10 years at this point, so asking that the salaries be reviewed.
Thank you. And for that, any other comments, questions? For that, I'll refer it to the Personnel Committee. And that concludes the business for tonight. I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Did we vote on that?
Oh,
We're adjourned now.
For the new business?
oh.
Did we vote?
Space out?
No, that was just.
It was just a break.
No,
You lost time.